Now, you're going to back the form lines off the back of exactly what you just said. Do I even need a prediction out of you, or are you a Roosters man all the way?
I think the Fremantle side's going to be hard to beat tonight. It's again, you look at the outs, you look at a couple of the scratchings from South Perth and a couple of the ins for Fremantle, and Fremantle looks stronger than they were last week, and South Perth probably look a little weaker, which I think Freo get it done reasonably comfortably in the end, but I expect South Perth to stay with them for a long period of the game.
Underway, Roosters kicking right to left across your screen. Ball picked up 15 metres from South Perth lines, and they'll get us underway with a big hit down the middle. Charging out through the line, Frost Kelamete meets up with a good bit of contact and makes South Perth realise exactly what's in front of them this evening.
Yeah, tentative return from Veronica Alex, a player that I haven't seen too much of before, but she'll need to run it back a little bit harder than that into contact. Otherwise, she's going to get met like that again and again. As we see the Lions taking it up over the halfway line.
Man with the carry. Now flicks out on the left-hand side again. Good chance for Sharp. 2 carries in this set. And they've progressed nicely through this one. Not much in line speed being offered up by the Roosters early here. Short side option and a little grubber through from Paul. Gets picked up right on the sideline, and they'll be 25 metres from their own line. In fact, tackled into touch. A fantastic start by the Lions.
Yeah, that's a great play from South Perth. It's a really good tackle there from Zara Suamili. Taking her into touch and giving them a really good opportunity. A window to play the ball. It's the Lions through Turner Wallace. Just tipping that one on to the very experienced Danielle Parker. Played at the very top level of the game. Turner Wallace again. Ball in 2 hands. The ball hits the deck. They have to go back and clean it up. It's Marangi. Comes back in field after the little bit of sloppy play. Going from dummy half, and second time that she's gone through the middle here, Williams. And again, looking very dangerous. Morongi goes to dummy half. They go to Turner Wallace, and the intercept is taken. The Roosters, she won't have the speed, gives it inside. And hitting the afterburners is Tinney. Tinney, they're coming from behind, but they won't catch her. Dallas Tinney will go the length after the intercept, and the Fremantle Roosters, against the runner play, score the first try of the match.
Gee, that just hurts, Donny. They've done so well to walk all the way from their own 15. They get the turnover after a good set of 6. They work towards the line. They think they're close, and they give away an interception. And you don't have to ask players like Dallas Tinney to run off the shoulder more than once. She'll go all the way and score this one at the opposite end. What hurts a depleted list even more is intercept tries like that. Kick to come.
Yeah, the intercept initially from Cheyenne Carney. Just read the play, saw it coming. Was in the huddle with South Perth when they drew that one up, and she knew she didn't have the pace. Straight away looked around for a support runner. When Dallas Tinney got the ball, I don't think she wanted to run the extra 60 metres herself, but she didn't have much choice, and she had enough speed to get away and get the 4 points.
First up, Atrell with the kicking duties. Relatively straightforward type of kick. Not too much wind about tonight either. This one just pulled straight off the tee though, missing left away. Score's going to remain 4-0 on the Cash Converter scoreboard. A hot start for both teams. Not exactly where South Perth want to be, but positives to be taken out of those 2 sets.
Well, I mean, effectively, as we have a look at the fuel to go and play replay, with Tinney scoring again, that was more or less the first time Fremantle have touched the football.
Yep.
Well, they got the ball from the kick and went into touch, and that you can't count that. So that's really the first touch of the football, and they've gone the length. They've gone 100 metres to score. So. Yeah, great start for Fremantle.
They're going to soak up every second they possibly can to bring this one back to halfway. And we'll be about 5 minutes into this clash by the time the ball's kicked.
Well, something we saw in last Friday night's game as well, with North Beach being a little bit depleted numbers-wise. They only had 13 players, so they'd had no bench at all. South Perth, they've got 14, so they'll have 1 on the bench here tonight. But again, it does make it a real test of fitness, and you've got to try and save your legs wherever you can. As we see Fremantle coming up with an error, Winder picks it up and straight away looking to charge back towards the Fremantle line on the 0 tackle.
Out on the right-hand side, able to just pick it away, Giles. Time to set up the attack. They might find Winder again, back on the left. Goes in the back door direction, trying to just take it through the halves. The skipper, Turner Wallace, sets up right in front of the post. 30 out from the line. South Perth, where do they work their magic from here? Switch in, was faked away, hitting a nice 45 angle. Setting up short side. They've got numbers, but Roosters cover the mass across. Gets out wide onto the wing. Tied up. They're going to have to reset from here. They've got one to work with. I would really like to answer back. They're going to kick early on 4, sending it high. Taken just in front of the goals. 1 metre in play. And the Roosters are happy to retire that one and start their set from the middle of the park.
Yeah, so far, South Perth getting through their sets. They're doing the simple things right. Fremantle are putting a lot of pressure on themselves. They're probably trying to be a little bit too tricky and too cute, I suppose, at times, and coming up with a few errors. So they'll just want to get through this set. Get the ball down the other end of the field. They've really had to do a lot of defence early. We see Wallace get out a dummy half. Runs into the shoulder of Fepalue. Now Atwell, outside-inside play. Read pretty well, though. Turner Wallace, the ball's come free. Well, there's a knock-on right there at the end. Well, she was complaining about something in the tackle and wasn't taking care of the football.
Yeah, I think everything was all okay. We'll check it out on the fuel to go and play replay, but I think there was all pretty regulation underneath there. Nothing to complain about.
I'm not sure exactly what she was complaining about, but yeah, you'll see right at the end of this. She looks up at the referee looking for some sort of assistance, thinking that maybe that first contact was a little high, but then just gets up and throws the ball free. So might have got a little nudge from Turner Wallace, who's an experienced player.
There's always a little nudge. It's fine.
Well, especially when you've got your captain and your number 7, or it's 7s and 9s. If you see the 7 and the 9 in the tackle, you know that
they're up to something.
They're up to something. There is mischief afoot.
Flat attacking setup for South Perth. 45 from goal. Confusion on when the ball will enter the scrum. Changing the lead foot of the lock, making sure everything's perfect. And we break out on the right-hand side. Good first up carry by Alex. Chance to go short side again, 2 on 2. Now 3 on 2, so they will pick right, going with the halves. Williams accepts the contact and gets a good leg drive on before being shunted back through with 10-8.
I will say Williams has looked the most likely so far from South Perth. Everyone else probably seems a little flat-footed, although a good run there, a good carry there from Smith has caught the Fremantle Roosters on that blind side, really on their heels.
Turner Wallace calling the play. Goes herself, spits a nice gap. Broke the 2 defenders. The offload was good for Giles, but just left behind, and a turnover. Roosters close again, not close enough.
I'd say no advantage there on that occasion.
Yeah.
A knock on both ways, although I think he's saying because this is after the tackle is complete. No, he's going to give the feed to Fremantle, I believe. Just for a second there, I thought he was saying because it was after the tackle was complete that the advantage had been taken, but it will be a Fremantle feed.
Gee, you ratted yourself there, stepping on the cord, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Fremantle freed. Deep in their own half. They're going to pick it off from the base of the scrum. Tinney shows on the outside. Tries to duke through, strong tackling. This is where South Perth are being good early in this, getting up in the face and shifting well. This time shooter comes up and forces contact. A strong leg drive once again. South Perth through Molly Wallace taking on every single bit of this. Short side, jet up, gives it out for Tinney. Switch inside, up to halfway, running into a wall of South Perth. Geez, they're burning early. Oh, good offload underneath. Good chance with numbers out wide. Can they shuffle it through? Carney decides to dip back through the middle. Head-on contact. The new player in Charlotte Scott made the first hit. They somehow offload again, keeping ball alive. Rutene on the outside's got an extra number. They get it through to Price, who pins for the corner. Should be in and is. Well, they've only used one tackle, but they've gone to ground almost 4 times, and the Roosters keeping the ball alive, 8-0 with a kick to come.
The second phase play in that play there from Fremantle was absolutely outstanding. It all started with, I think it was Molly Wallace that went into contact. There was 4 South Perth Lions on her, managed to get the offload away, and then there was Cheyenne Carney involved again heavily, drew in defenders, gets the offload away here. Carney, you see there, getting it out to Rutene. Rutene sums this situation up perfectly and gets it out to Price, who had the wheels to beat Alex over, and brings it around, improves the position for the goal kicker, which after the first strike from Atwell, she needs all the help she can get, because the first one wasn't the best, but basically the same position. So she gets an opportunity to atone for the first kick.
Well, if that one was aiming dead straight down the middle, maybe just go right post this time. Everything will be fine.
Well, what tends to happen with when you get the same kick in the same spot is an overcorrection. So let's see if this one goes across the face.
What's the famous NRL clip? You got to compensate. This one better.
Beautiful.
10-8. Roosters in front.
10-8.
Sorry, 10-0. 8 goes to 10 with 2 extra.
Well, South Perth would love to be 10-8 at the moment.
And I think their defence is good. They got the right idea. Line speed, 2 or 3 or 4 in the tackle. That's just unfortunate to get an arm free 2 times in a row to progress that far up the field. You're going to get shorted with numbers if you get those offloads. That's the way we play.
Yeah, exactly. That was the key to that try was Fremantle able to draw in the South Perth defence on a couple of occasions in a single play, and still it came down to a 2-on-1. It wasn't like there was 4 on none out on this touchline. So they adjusted reasonably well to the second phase, but Fremantle, their execution was brilliant on that occasion and got the job done. Go out to a 10-0 lead.
18 minutes to go in this first half. Just starts to get a little bit more chilly here as the sun is well and truly gone down in Fremantle. Well, now Treeby.
It really is in fantastic shape, this ground. We had Magic Round here, of course, last Saturday for the field to go and play men's competition, and the ground's held up amazingly well. Probably a little bit better than it did in the NRL Magic Round in Brisbane, where it looked like a bit of a cow paddock by the end of that the 8 games there. But
too much footy. You've got to spread it around. Halfway with South Perth after an error. They're getting plenty of ball and plenty of opportunity, and that's a bustling hit. Penalty's going to go for a high tackle as well. And this is the new player, Charlotte Scott. Thought I saw a 3 before. Maybe that was Somali. Charlotte Scott bustling through. The high contact probably on Heta. First in, just coming with a shoulder. Scott takes another run. Prime attacking position. We've said that before.
Winder through.
Just out of a moment's notice. They're tied up on the ball, but fights it off again. Winder has taken 4 carries already. This time, busts the line. I took my eyes away for a second and she's through.
It was just a hit up, but you looked away for a second.
I was looking at the backs, making sure I had my lineup ready.
But a great try from Michelle Winder. She looked like she was about to do a cartwheel in celebration there as well. Dancing up towards the halfway line. She carries a couple across the try line. Atwell could not stop her. Fist punches the air, and look at that smile. She loves it.
She's gone the 3 celebrations there as well. That's what I love. She's gone fist pump on the ground. She's got up, she's done the ball throw, and then gone with the skip that you've picked up third up. Takes every bit of them.
Well, front rowers, that they don't get to score too many tries, and I doubt that Michelle's Winder's any different. So when you get one, you've got to make sure you get all your celebrations out in one go, because it might be a long time
Bottling
before
them
you
for
get
3
another
years.
one.
10-4, kick in front. Williams with the duties first.
That was a very good 1-2 punch there from South Perth. Charlotte Scott has come off the bench straight onto the field straight away, and what you want when you don't have many bench players is the bench player comes on and has an impact like that. Absolutely sensational. 2 runs in a row from Scott, and then Winder followed it up and really softened up the middle of Fremantle. As we see this try again from Winder, just straight through the middle. Some poor defence there from Header, and a great effort from Atwell, but good determination from Winder to get the ball to the ground and back in the contest. 6.
Yeah, I think Header was expecting to have another player on her shoulder, and they were just both going to hug together, and there's no power in that position if you're going solo. So here we go, game on. 4-point margin all of a sudden. South Perth, they've had more of the attacking ball. They just got to stop the free playing of the Roosters wherever they can. 14:45 to go in the first.
Well, Fremantle have done this to themselves. In all honesty, they've invited South Perth into the game time and time again with mistakes from kickoffs, with mistakes early in their set. They've given South Perth plenty of territory. You feel if they complete their sets, get through their sets, hold on to the ball, then they're probably going to win this by some margin. But at the moment, they're not playing well enough, and they're allowing South Perth into it. As South Perth come up with their own error there. It was a try scorer that puts it down. As Turner Wallace tries to come up with a one-on-one strip, but carried on with it a little bit too long. The penalty goes to Fremantle.
Yeah, I think the difference there, immediately, Winder looked up and saw for the first time tonight line speed from the defence. And that was a little bit of a shock to the system, maybe. And this one was secured on the ground well before the strip
I don't know
attempt.
that she can complain too much about that call, because she did go on for a fair while. It's Weldon. Her first carry of the match, I believe. Fremantle, another golden opportunity. Paul goes out wide to Atwell. Atwell, ball in 2 hands. The defence holds off, and she goes, well, if you're going to leave a hole like that for me, I'm going to take it. And dot down to score a 4-pointer.
Just picked the angle way too early. See as she gets this at the back, sees up, and just goes, whoa, I can change this 45 into a 50-degree angle, then cut back in before the winger. It was a good read and executed perfectly. Didn't need any of the support players around. They were just acting as distractions to keep that defence pulled out. 14-6. Fremantle answer straight back.
Yeah, they've punished the Lions for that error, and it's such a cliche in rugby league after points is must complete after you score points, and every team screams it as they walk up over the halfway line. But there's a reason why it's a cliche, because it is incredibly important to complete your set after points, get the ball down the other end, because otherwise you just allow the opposition to come straight back into it.
Good line, just going to fall short this time. Yeah, my favourite variation of the must complete is 2 minutes. They all just it's 4 minutes into the game, and they just come back to halfway. 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes, boys.
That one's usually after you've made the mistake. You haven't completed. You're like, okay, well, 2 minutes is basically saying all you've got to do is hold on for 1 set. Hold on for 1 set, and then we'll get the ball back.
Back to halfway again. No stranger to seeing a kick-off tonight so far.
There's certainly been a lot of points early in this game, because 14 points to 6. Only 18 minutes gone, so going ahead of the clock at the moment. And we've probably wasted a good couple of those minutes with the Lions walking back to the halfway line.
Yeah, they're more than happy to dawdle these ones back up. Scoring their own try wasn't enough rest, so they thought they'd concede another and take a bit more off. Williams to get us back underway. Short one again, finds grass, and it'll get towards the sideline and makes its way over the line. Another uncharacteristic error from the Roosters.
Yeah, just no one up on the sideline at the 10-metre line. Just poor setup, I suppose, from the kickoff.
Are they a bit lackadaisical in defence to start tonight, a team like the Roosters?
Oh, they definitely don't seem as sharp as they need to be. If they're going to, like, they're at the top of the ladder at the moment. If we're talking about them competing with the best teams in this competition, the Ellenbrooks and the Joondalups of the world, then yeah, they're going to have to be a lot sharper than they have been so far in this game. As we see South Perth straight from the scrum win. They throw the ball wide.
Marangi, the one in the contact. Williams shapes this one out left. Good carry again for Scott. Gets the leg drive working all the way through as well. Could be a solid inclusion for the season. Was left off the team list too late. Thrown out left side. Winder takes the second roll. 20 away now. There's a big pod set up on the right-hand side. They're all bunched in together, so they'll use the backs out on the left. Short ball, cut was really late. Able to get away with it, trying to go through Somali. Crunch backwards, didn't like that one. Fourth here. And they'll fade off right. Where do they go? Turner Wallace tries to dish it back on the inside. They play away, and Somali's going to end up on the ground again. Ragdoll down, fifth and last. All the backs are on the left-hand side, so they have to keep committing the short side. Wallace, flat ball through the hole. Try. Georgia bet off a brilliant ball from Michaela Turner Wallace. There was nowhere to go outright. Short side 3 times in a row. 14 plays 10 with a kick to come.
Well, that's a really good play from Michaela Turner Wallace, but it's also a really intelligent attack from the South Perth Lions. You mentioned it, you noticed it. They had every single one of their players was stacked on that left-hand short side, so that meant they had the numbers overlap. So it was just a matter of picking the right player that was running the right line, and it was a great line from Georgia Bet to score that try.
I think an accidental stroke of genius there by the entire South Perth Lions attack. Tricky kick this one though. About 8 metres in from touch. Have to give it a fair hoof. No wind to assist. No wind hurting either.
It's actually a tactic back from when I used to play. The North Beach Sea Eagles used to be fantastic at doing it, at stacking one side of the field, because as a defensive line you're taught to cover that whole line. If they put all their players on one side of the field, you've got to adjust, and it's not a natural thing for a defensive unit to do. So they set up really well. The kick is waved away, but 14 points to 10 on the cash converted scoreboard is a really good try. We talk about the poor setup from Fremantle from the kickoff. This was really well set up here by the Lions, and some great ball playing from their halfback and captain in Turner Wallace.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's always going to be a couple of defenders, even if you see all the players out there where you go, well, this is a trick. I'm going to stay out here because I can't get in trouble out here. If I go over there, I might get in trouble. You got to stick to your guns sometimes, and sometimes you just got to go with the flow of the game. 14 points to 10. A high scoring first half. And we're in the single digits now. 7.5 to play. Looks like they're set up to go deep on this kick. Atwell does exactly that. Nice take on the back, almost a forward pass to Winder, smartly avoided. Brought to ground 35 from their own line, and they line up on the right-hand side. Scott gets a lot of room to move this time. Gets through one and then gets the ball dislodged. Referee says play on, lost forward. No strip in there, just a loose carry, but the motivation to break through the line was rock solid. Turnover here, Moorish.
Well, this has been the seesawing pattern of the game so far. One team scores, and straight away the other team responds as Carney runs at Scott. Another good, strong run. She's had a really good start to this game, Cheyenne Carney. Now another run through the middle with Weldon. The Roosters, they look to set up their next attack. Graham at dummy half, goes out the back of Carney. Now across to Tinney. Tinney holds the ball up, and again to Atwell.
Sure.
Atwell gets it wider, and Pico goes across to score out wide, this time on the right-hand side of the field. And Atwell's just creating that extra number for them.
Yeah, this is tremendous on attack. I've still got questions about the defence, but for now we can focus on another good try by the Roosters. Just the show and the go. They've got layers upon layers of options here, and once again, as you said, Atwell just draws in the defence too well. This time it wasn't for her. Just puts Paiku through the gap, and away they go for another try in the corner. They're silky at the moment. They're playing with 2 rock-solid lines of attack, Donny, and it seems all pre-rehearsed, like this was standard Tuesday evening training. Not that there's no defense, but the movement of the attacking line has not differed from their original path. There's no free thinking. There's no adjustments. This is exactly how they want to run forward.
Yeah. There was again, really well constructed try. There was some classy stuff there from Dallas Tenney that sort of forced Zara Suamili, who's been one of South Perth's best so far, but forced her to come in off her line, and that created the space out wide that Atwell was able to take advantage of. Once again, the conversion attempt is waved away, but 18 points to 10 on the cash converter scoreboard. About 25 minutes gone. Once again, still staying ahead of the clock, so 28 points in 25 minutes.
We have one more.
It's been exciting.
Yeah, we'll stay in front of the count with one more. Be handy to see as we take a look at the try once again. It's a good show on the inside to get it all started from Tinney. Probably the only marker on it. They were going to get overlapped anyway, but maybe Somali's not coming out of the line there as second last defender with still 2 or 3 on the outside again. Small adjustments though. At some point you've got to bite as a defensive unit and try to shut something down on the inside.
Yeah, and again, whenever you go up and in like that, if you do it isolated, if you're the only one that's doing it, then you're likely to get caught out. You need your centre and winger to be working in tandem in those sorts of situations. They're both coming up and in, then whoever she's going to pass it to is also going to get hit. So yeah, not a lot of communication, and yeah, Fremantle, as you said, good enough to take advantage of that situation. Well, let's see if we can get a completed set after points.
Good. Yeah, go.
Carney charges it back for the Roosters up towards the 40-metre line. Looks to get a quick play of the ball. They get on the front foot again. Well, they get that one around for Moorish, an offload, which they've been really good at doing. And the Roosters, they come through one of their Retene into space. That's tapped backwards by South Perth. Tries to put it on the boot. This should be 6 again. Won't need 6 again though. Bumping away from players, getting the ball down towards the line. Quick play the ball here, and it's on for the Roosters. They come back towards the middle, short runner off the shoulder, and the ball gets to the ground. Well, a try for Taumea in the end for the Roosters, but some fantastic play in the lead-up.
Yeah, just the start from Nina Retene. Once she got the ball out wide, yes, they kept it alive, but this initial run, charge up, this is when the try is scored. That initial run from Retene just pinned the ears and started bumping tacklers off left and right, able to get the ball on the outside, and the support is there as always from the Roosters. And a fantastic finish there by Tamar. 22-10, and we're beating the clock into half-time. It's a guarantee now. Early payout. What a market that would be.
Tiana Graham takes over the goal-kicking duties.
Sore leg out well.
She's had a few attempts. Knocked one over. So she's got the 6 points down on her tally personally of these 22. Tiana Graham moves in. Adds another 2 to the scoreline. And there's 24 points to 10 on the cash converter scoreboard. We get towards that halfway mark. South Perth, they wouldn't want to concede any more points before the break. 2 minutes to go. Normally you'd say, well, they're probably not going to concede anymore, but the way this game is going, 2 minutes is more than enough time to score. As we see this lead-up play from Fremantle, some great work here from Frost Kelamete. I thought she was going to carry Alex across the line, but just finds the ground, gets a good quick play the ball, and then on the following play comes out to Paul. Paul gets it to Taumea off her shoulder, and she's too big, too strong. South Perth, they get plenty of numbers there to try and stop her, but an aggressive put down in the end from Taumea.
Yeah, I thought Shayla Williams had the right idea. She had that last bit of contact there. She didn't go for the body. She knew she wasn't going to win the one-on-one close to the line, so she went ball first. Couldn't get the strip. She realised it was held in there tightly, and then she just held on for dear life and went over the line.
South Perth taking as much time off the clock before the break as they can.
Still going to have to face up for at least half a set here, as they can force the error. This one a bobble up over to the left side again. Plenty of players ready to receive. A good charge back up into the line. Roosters back underway through Carney.
She's been outstanding. I think she's been the best for Fremantle so far in this first half.
Looking fit as well, the way she's got back to her feet every single time, ready to take another. It's a big addition. Another carry on the out. Oh, just gone by.
It was Moorish again there with an offload that created the headaches. Now Tiana Graham gets out of dummy half, gets through the gap. Graham gets the one-handed offload and a try to Retene. She's been involved in a couple of tries, and right on half-time she gets one of her own.
Yeah, that's a lucky offload to say the least, over the top, but the numbers were swarming to make it finish off in the corner. A couple of slip tackles, a great carry, and Retene just in the perfect spot at the perfect time. Scoops it up off the bounce and pins for the corner. 28-10. Kick to come, and that's the half-time siren. So while we wait for the kick, Donnie, can we beat the clock the whole game? Are we going to keep going like this, or do we settle down a little bit after some defensive chats at half-time?
Well, I think both teams will want to talk to their defensive units and maybe change some things up. But I think that will depend largely on the Fremantle Roosters and what sort of mood they're in. I get the feeling that they are a team that could do this all night. They love to have the ball in hands. They look great in attack. When they've got down into the red zone here, they've been almost flawless. Yeah. When they've got down into this part of the field, it's coming out of their own end where they've come up with a few errors. That's probably been their issue. Not a bad strike from Tiana Graham, but just across the face. So we go to the break at 28-10 in favour of the Fremantle Roosters.
Before we go to break, quickly on South Perth, they're low on numbers, so they're only going to get more tired from here. So how do you simplify the defence to either A, stop them getting inside the 20 so they can be silky smooth, or B, what do we do once we end up in the red zone?
Yeah, again, those offloads are the things that have been killing them. It's that second phase play that Fremantle's been able to create. So when you have to come up with that second and third effort, they've got to stop the ball. That's got to be the number one message from the coach at half-time, is you've got to stop the ball. Wrap that ball up, make sure they're not getting those offloads away. That'll make it a little easier if you only have to make one effort every tackle.
Half-time here, 28-10. Fremantle in full control at home. We'll take a short break now and be right back with your second half. Yeah, it's a key. Fremantle keep giving up errors in the first few minutes of the half again here. Just like the first half, they're going to be worried about South Perth just pegging back away. Kickoff in play. Tinney gives it off on the inside. Good chance to break through a couple of tackles, and just as prescribed, an offload on the inside gives Henry a chance to pull up just before halfway. An 18-metre return off the first bit of contact, and they'll feed it out on the left-hand side. The Roosters through Tilma. Nice strong own contact, and there's concern for the player on the ground. Right collarbone would be the danger area.
Well, that was a really strong, solid shot on Taumea, but it's come off the worst for wear there. They're the defender. Not sure exactly who it is for South Perth, but it was a great shot.
You watch the hit, I'll get the number. Well, I didn't get a number for you. How'd the hit go?
Yeah, the hit was quite impressive. The contact was good. Taumea rode the contact well though, and still ended up finding a front, but obviously just got the head in the wrong position.
They kind of.
It's definitely facial. It's not so
it's
much
not collarbone. Yeah, it seems to be cheek area, jaw area. An interesting one.
Start to look through who's not there for South Perth. Might be Charlie Giles, is it?
Yeah, it could be Giles, in fact. While I saw her smushed face slightly towards the camera. It's a good bit of contact. Nothing really in toward the contact initially. Maybe a bit of whiplash on the way down. Certainly seems like they are touching around the neck as well, but
well, yeah, obviously for the individual, it's never good when you've got an injury, and you see now taking all those the precautions around that neck area as well, which is you certainly never want to see any sort of injuries around that part of the body. But it's big for South Perth. They're already sort of lacking in numbers and short on numbers, so to have a player that's gone down injured, perhaps not coming back for the rest of this match, it's a huge implications for them. They're basically down to no players left on the bench. They've got the ones that are out there, they're the ones that are going to finish the game.
Yeah, well, Scott, if she comes on to replace, going to have to do the whole 25 minutes herself. And she's only been on for 2 hit-ups at a time so far.
Yeah, Charlotte Scott's been a real impact player so far. Has come on, had a couple of big strong carries, gone back off for another rest, and but now she's going to have to play the remainder of this game.
I believe that
Letitia.
Yeah, it might be.
Billy White.
A decent out for South Perth. But up and walking. Hopefully that clears any neck area damage. We would safely assume that's why she's on her feet. Scott will come on. Now the bench, from what I can tell, should be empty for South Perth for the rest of this game. Fremantle can strike now. Back underway. They'll feed it out on the right-hand side. Good backdoor play. Atwell gives it out wider again. Pike out. Breaks through a tackle. Kicks clear on the inside. Taking every single angle possible. Williams does well to drag it down, but if not for a 30-metre gain. Pressure on here. Roosters. Short ball. Another good chance to bust straight through the middle. Short of the line. No. Over they go for another great try. Doing it with ease at the moment, the Fremantle Roosters. And Carney, a reward for all the efforts that she's put on in the first half, immediately reaps the rewards in the second.
We'll see the fuel to go and play replay. Just that left foot step right as she got to the defensive line. Michelle Winder sort of planted her feet, wasn't able to go through. That put her on the other end of the defence, out the back, and yeah, too big, too strong. She's been fantastic so far tonight, and a well-deserved try.
This kick relatively straightforward. From in front of the post, slightly right. And the extra 2 goes over the top from Tiana Grayard.
So go out to 34 points to 10 as we get another look at the fuel to go and play replay try for Cheyenne Carney. And again, just stepping through. Desperate defence coming across from Charlotte Scott, but yeah, definitely not enough to stop Carney from getting a well-deserved 4-pointer.
5 minutes into the second half, we get our first. Are we still in front of the clock? Yep, in front of the clock. Nicely done. This is the biggest enemy if you've backed it at half-time and full-time. It's the walk back from South Perth. You'd be hoping they make a comeback, and Roosters charge back to halfway to keep this one on track.
Yeah, South Perth, they're just doing what they can to stay in the game at this point. They'll continue to work hard. It's a very proud club. Williams gets us underway. Kicking it down, and Talmea. She's been thirsty for work ever since she scored that try. She's got the shackles up and ready to rumble. See, again, having players inside and out. There is Henry. Now Carney up over the halfway line, straight through the other side, looking around for a support player, can't find one. Finds the ground, quick play the ball. Now to Tinney, they're right on the front foot. They got Atwell on the inside, they go to the outside, they come back into Atwell, and the try for Fremantle, well, that is as slick as it gets.
I don't even think they need to throw that last pass, Donny, but boy, did it look good. That is exactly what you want to see, dishing back on the inside. We work it back through Tinney again. Good check on the outside, and the inside ball back to Atwell. It's just crisp and clean. They dot themselves over for another. And tally keeps rising at the moment. 38 points to 10.
You know, a lot of credit for that once again goes to Cheyenne Carney.
Yeah.
A really good, strong charge when she got tackled, gets up, plays the ball incredibly quickly. So while she gets a lot of the credit, the execution after that from Fremantle, it's second to none. I mean, that was some brilliant play. Again, some great ball playing from Dallas Tinney. Gets it out to Pico, who's been incredibly dangerous on this right-hand edge. And yeah, she makes a bird of it by finding Atwell, who was running a great fullback line, supporting on the inside as well.
Early doors, but when you make the comparison to the likes of Ellenbrook, well, Fremantle, that one waved away, you assume they're going to stay tight on top of the ladder after this one with the Ellenbrook Rabbitohs, and that slicky ball movement that we're so familiar to come predominantly from Ellenbrook as a side. Now we've got someone to match them, so does the grand final, if this was to be the matchup, does it turn into a purely defensive contest if they're both going to run this slick, this smooth, this supportive?
Yeah, well, Ellenbrook is a different beast when it comes to defence. I mean, they're really tight through the middle. They always have been. They've got a different coach this year, though, the Rabbitohs. So they're opening up a more attacking brand of football. But they have been a little bit dour at times. That they play a really forward-heavy game where they just punch through the middle, and not too many teams can handle them physically. At the moment, looking at this Fremantle team, the way that they're playing, they've certainly got some players that will be able to match it up front with them for a period of time. Whether they've got the depth through that middle third of the field to match them for the full 60, that's probably the big question mark.
Set to go through Williams again. This time heaving deep. Last line of defence has to take this one. And Weldon carries up and drives through.
That's a great catch there from Weldon, down around her knees on the fingertips.
On the run still as well. Never got a chance to really pull up. A risky taker. Probably another one or two props would just let that one bounce and take it on the shins. Good second up on their own 40. Can fan out to the right here. Penalty. Just slow to get away through the tackle.
Yeah, Turner Wallace once again just trying to do everything she can to give her team some sort of advantage. The penalty was there. It had to be given. But yeah, she knows her team is up against it. And you see Turner Wallace and Danielle Parker in the tackle, two of the most experienced players in this competition, and just didn't quite get away with it.
I think Turner Wallace will take advantage and try get away with a few when there is advanced field position. She knows once we're getting past halfway, well, we're in a lot of trouble. We're getting scored on heavily. When we're up in the opposition half, well, if I just stick an arm in here, or if I lay on the ball here, if I break from half here, trying to tie them up again, doing everything right, just can't quite stick the tackle, almost going high on the third up effort. Roosters in forward position here. And it starts setting up a handy attack. Frosketamate bustling through the line, brought to ground. Tries to raise to the feet quickly. South Perth still on the retreat, and they have to turn and face up. Look at the depth from the attacking line here. They can go through all the hands, deciding to crack back on the inside though. Moorish finding the post, trying to dart through them all, beats them all. Now just got to get the line. 3 still in the tackle. Oh, she was home for glory for a moment. Wanted every bit. Short side still on for the Roosters here. Only 3rd in the tackle. Now we go across. Tinney, deep release early. Couldn't get moving. What a crack off the right foot. Pike out into the corner. And man gets to dot it over. What a bit of footwork. What a bit of play. Roosters go in 42-10 on the Cash Converters scoreboard with a kick to come.
Well, an underrated heroine here for the Fremantle Roosters has been the number 18, Stacey Moorish. I think that's about her 4th or 5th offload. Once again, drawing in a lot of defence before she got the pass to Henry, and that was the play before the try. And yeah, some great play in the lead up to the try as well. Pico getting the pass out wide to the try scorer, and man goes across for another one for the Fremantle Roosters.
Right foot step just before giving that final pass from Pico up. That was aggressive. That was dug into the ground. Got the wing turning on the shoulder, and then winger didn't even have to worry because the ball was coming out to that wing anyway, so got turned inside out off an aggressive step and freed up. A good chance over in the corner for Rebecca Mann. Easy as you like, dot that one over.
Well, I think there's been a couple of times in this second half already. Donalda Pico could have added to her 1 try, and she could have 3 tries already in this game, but some unselfish play from her has seen her provide for her teammates instead.
Back up to halfway. The gentle trot from South Perth. Still having a huddle, in fact. Haven't even begun the journey back to halfway. 17 minutes to go here, or 17:40 if we want to be exact, add the change. Now while they make their way up, Donny, where are you tomorrow? What game have you got?
I've got
him.
He's put me on the spot. South Perth and Fremantle tomorrow.
Yeah. Following it up, back here, Treeby.
Well, I know it's down in South Perth. I feel like this is my second home at the moment. I'm spending a lot of time in Treeby, but it's at George Burnett, the home of the South Perth Lions.
Donny saved by the producer in the truck. Thank you, Dave, for getting Donny out of a tricky one there. Everyone knows now.
I'll worry about tomorrow, but tonight I'll focused on this one.
Tomorrow's only 4 hours away. You've got to be onto it.
I'll be ready, mate. Don't worry about me.
Just get a good rest in. Promise me that. Williams at halfway. Set to go. Good kick and a good take. Showing it on the inside and another good chance to run up through the line. Tamar. Not Tamar, sorry. Weldon. Got the front rowers at the back confused. Now space to move. Darting up through the line. Frost Kelamete again. Really aggressively likes to charge on with the ball. Plenty of numbers out on the right side here. Chance to offload again, but instead cracking back through the inside. Moorish this time. 42 out from the line. Tinney screaming for it out on the right here. It's a mismatch on numbers. The shooter comes up. They're going to pick apart this hole, starting back on the inside boy. Paucau again. This time going to reap the rewards. A beautiful setup by Dallas Tinney. Had the overlap. Inside ball. And away they go. 46 plays 10 with a kick right in front.
Well, you mentioned that the training run earlier, and I think it was in the first half there, and that was a training run play. Yeah, the outside runner drawing the players across, and the player that no one's looking at coming on the inside, and just catches South Perth completely unawares, and Pico gets her second.
Should be a relatively formality type kick right in front to move 48 to 10.
Tiana Graham, she holds herself to a high standard. She had that one right out on the touchline, and she was admonishing herself for missing it. So she'll be pretty confident in knocking this one over.
Yeah, there's no heat map on the percentage stat. If you miss one, it's gone. That one's out to the right.
There we go. That's the commentator's curse at work right there. And right in front, she's got a wry smile on her face. That missing one from right in front, one that she'd normally kick with a heel. I don't think it's going to cost them the game somehow. As we have another look at this fantastic execution from the Fremantle Roosters, Donalda Pico going straight through and barely a hand laid on her. And she runs 30-40 metres to score her second try. We talk about in front of the clock. Well, now not only is the total scorer in front of the clock, the Roosters are in front of the clock.
It's going to get dangerous if they can maintain that margin. Fans will be happy.
Well, imagine if they were going up in sixes instead of fours. They're missing those conversions.
Home. They'd call it early payout.
Well, dancing down that left-hand touchline. Turner Wallace comes up with an important tackle. Otherwise, Frost Kelamete was away. Now they remain on the front foot. Going towards the sideline there, though, Retene. Now Weldon. Weldon able to run a long way before she gets to the defensive line. Will stand in the tackle. Will get that offload away, as they've done all night. Henry now draws in another couple of defenders. Well, they're put onto her back, so they'll try and slow her down as much as they can. Graham at dummy half. Comes to Tinney. Tinney tracks across field. Dummy shows and goes herself. Now throws a Harbour Bridge pass across, and it's Pico again. Comes back infield into Tinney. Tinney gets the offload away to Henry, and South Perth, they adjust and do well enough. Henry pulls out of the tackle of Scott. Danielle Parker trying to come up with that one-on-one strip. The ball eventually... no, she's held onto it, Henry. Somehow.
Second where it might have gone loose.
Now they work down this left-hand side. Frost Kelamete forces a pass out. And I think this might be called as a knock-on against South Perth, is it?
Be stiff if it was. We'll take another look. Hopefully it's knock-on Roosters first over the top.
I think you're right. I think Frost Kelamete loses control of the ball into South Perth before they knock on. Would be my call. Let's see. Scott's come up with the same call here for the referees.
How good's the right-footed Paiku? Once again there, got it from Tinney, cracks the right as hard as you like. Can feel a little bit of earth, just, you know, the tectonic plate's gone about a millimetre there, then back inside to Tinney.
There's a rumble that goes through the caravan here on the sideline.
Big caravan too.
Well, the Lions, they've had no ball so far. Let's see what they can do with it. They've barely touched it in this second half. I don't know whether I can remember them having the footy.
We certainly haven't seen Winder carry it up. He takes on the early duties. Probably been itching for this one. Scott lines up on the right-hand side. They're going to use the backs early, though. Tinney and alike come out of the line well to meet them up. Two in the tackles, spinning away. Brought to ground, Renee Smith tries to get up quickly. Good pressure by the tacklers. Short side option again. Trying to just bust through the line. The space just closing so nicely at the moment. Trying to get the hands free. Hanare decides to surrender in held. Now Scott gets her chance. Has sweeped across from the other side of the field. Great legs tackle. Highcow doing it all at the moment. Attack and defense. Fifth and last. And Williams bombs it long centre field. Atwell to clean up. Lets it go. And now leaves Molly Wallace to clean up across the back.
Atwell wanted to catch it, and then she didn't.
Really
she pulled
didn't
out
as well.
right at the last
really
minute.
Didn't want it.
Good charge there. Good run from dummy half, but solid contact on Price. Parker throws it to the ground. Now the Roosters taking it forward through Henry. Henry's been a real workhorse for them. He's done a lot of work that hasn't gone unnoticed. Tinney stands, gets the offload away, and now Retene gets the last offload. It hits the deck. Atwell goes back, tries to clean it up, but it comes up with the knock on. Well, the last pass, it's the first time the last pass has actually gone wrong for Fremantle all night.
Well, that's it. That's 24 from 25 now. Roosters on offloads, the unofficial stat as we watch the fuel to go and play a replay. It's another great break through the line. They're doing everything right. The desperation tackle is there at fullback this time for South Perth through Alex. And yeah, just a slight knock on. We reset South Perth with it all in front of them again. Long way to go. You consider the kick on first, maybe, Donny. Let's just relieve some pressure, get them turned around, or you're avoiding broken play at any means necessary.
I think when you've had no ball, you want to just hold on to it for a little while. As Bet, one of the try scorers for South Perth, tackle made.
There's a penalty, kick on first. Okay, the Turner Wallace wants it.
Yeah, South Perth get the penalty, and an opportunity now for them to kick it down into better territory than they've seen for quite some time, although they might not have found touch.
Yep.
They've just got it in. I was waiting for that flag to go up, waiting for it to go up. Eventually it does.
It was a good kick by Shayla Williams there. That's actually probably 35 metres on an 8-metre angle from the sideline.
Got as bit off as much as she could chew. Exactly the right amount.
Tap and go. Set and ready for Scott. Tries to angle back towards the sideline. Gets the right knee off kilter and falls to the ground. Set out left. Plenty here for the Lions. Little tip-off play. Renee Smith goes tall into contact. Plenty ready to accept. Plenty fanning out to the left. Winder's chance now. Comes in with a head of steam. Shrugs off the first, and then Tinney commits low, but she gets through them all, Winder, and she won't pass from here. She'll just keep going straight. 10 out from the line. They can match it out well, left-hand side. It's an even match-up short side, but anything can happen through 2 lines of defence. Alex taken from behind. A great tackle. Piker just diving from everywhere. Refuses to not be a part of the play at the moment. South Perth still attacking the line. Turner Wallace caught it deep, so steps on the inside. Now they try to work forward again. Looks for the offload, almost lost control. 5th and last. They're without their skipper, and their other half takes it from the deck. So it's going to be a chance for Williams. Fakes and then goes a chip over the top. Loose. Can get her in goal. Chance if they can just get onto it quick enough. Williams not there in the nick of time. Although they might have driven it back, and they have. Good defence after the kick of Shyla Williams.
Yeah, a clever little dab from Williams in the end. She started that with the touch finder, and a little kick right at the end of that set as well that got it into the in goal and earns her side a repeat set.
It's a very nonchalant action.
He just did what she had to do to find that space. It was as you say, it was an unusual kick, probably not the kick that we're used to seeing. As we're back live now, the goal line dropout taken quickly from the Roosters. Winder has to go back to clean it up. Again, she tries to stand in the contact, and they chop her down low there. Dallas Tinney coming up with the grass cutter tackle. We see the Lions taking that forward now through Smith. Over to this left-hand touchline. Williams to dummy half. They go across now with Scott. Scott right in the middle of the field.
2 in.
The ball's come out, but it was definitely knocked out by the Roosters.
Oh, that's stiff on Scott there. I thought she was, didn't break through the line, took both tacklers on, was about to start the leg drive, and I feel like that has to be stripped. We'll check it on the fuel to go and play.
I thought there was definitely a slap at the ball, but we will have a look and see if the replay shows it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Two-handed tap. Scott knew the rules as well. 2 arms up straight away. Please, sir.
No love.
It's always next week. We'll get him.
Loose carry, I guess, is the ruling. Carney just back onto the field after a bit of a breather. That's got to be danger signs. A fresh Cheyenne Carney, the way that she's played so far tonight. The Roosters straight away looking to attack from the scrum win. They get it out to Price. Price puts the foot down, takes on the fullback, and off she goes. Well, look at the speed here of Brittany Price. Streaks away to score her second of the night and dots down under the sticks.
As soon as she got the ball, I saw her just take a look forward and then really dig in for a couple of strides. You'll see her here. That's when I had a sheepish little laugh under my breath, because right there she knows, I think I've got a chance here. Pins it back. Look at the desperation on that. Sticks the tongue out, kicks it through. He's that full pelt. Everybody's up, especially if you're a Rooster. The Lions maybe not having the most fun anymore at 50 points to 10 with their kick from right in front to come. And we're still in front of the minutes here, Donny.
I wish we had the front on camera, because the front on angle of the facials from Brittany Price there would be worth the price of admission. As you say, it was pure desperation on her face to begin with. It was, she wanted to streak away, and then as soon as she was free, the smile came on the face, the tongue came out. It was had a little bit of everything. So. Yeah, great stuff there from the Roosters, but they can't. They struggle with the goal kicking.
I think on another night she steps inside there, accepts contact, probably after beating the first. She beats the winger, then steps inside of the 2 covering across. But you just see on her face here, she goes, nah, I reckon I've got a chance. Right here, she looks forward, and look at the drive, look at the power, and then you got to wait for the tongue. Gives it to them all. Sitting on the sideline, they know what they're here for. It's exactly that from their home side. Roosters 50 to 10 after missing one straight in front.
Well, they raise the bat for the half century.
And a slow walk back to halfway. 3 minutes and a little bit of change left in this one. South Perth, maybe one more attack. Just got to absorb this set. and they can walk it all the way through.
It has been an impressive showing, and as we said at the start of this second half, it was 20 minutes into the first half, 14 points to 10, and from that moment, it's been all Fremantle. South Perth have touched the ball probably 3 times since the 20th minute.
Changing kicker, and R8 will take this one. And won't make the trip, I don't believe. And we'll all just stop and stare at it.
We got to wait for the referee to blow his whistle before they're allowed to touch it. There we go.
Beautiful work there. Penalty halfway for the Roosters. Complying to the letter of the law. Tap and go. Up through the middle. Tamara. First run for the Roosters in a dominant display. Could be their last chance to run them forward as well, so they want to make the most of it. Burn every last penny. Out on the left-hand side, Paul gives it out deep. Now cutting back on the inside, the Roosters. They're hitting it from every angle at the moment. You just can't stop them. They're going to empty the playbook here this afternoon. That was Brittany Price again. Now Atwell picks it up from half, dishing for Carney on the outside. Was it loose? No, still held underneath there by Atwell. Thought she gave it. Turns out not at all. Carney wants this one, ignored again. Now they're going to go wide, send it through the pairs of hands. Jetta gives it off. Now goes again. Paikau, will she crack off the right again? No, it takes an acute angle, but just busts through them anyway. Paikau doesn't need to step when she's moving at pace. And they've gone 54-10 with a kick to come. And that'll be the ball game you would like to think, Donnie.
Well, Donalda Paikau, she could have had 5 or 6 in this game. She's going to finish with a hat-trick and deserves it. She has been an absolute handful. I don't know whether anybody would have actually made a tackle on her tonight. She's just busted tackles for fun and finishes that one off nicely. She had the fullback Veronica Alex standing in front of her, and I think you called the try before she missed the tackle, because she was no chance of stopping Piker with the form and the mood that she's in.
I just think she's rocked up with a big determination, and well, maybe not the night to rock up at 110%. I mean, if you can do it again later in the season, probably the time to bring this type of performance out again, that's for sure. But when you've got Tinny and Piker playing like this, it's definitely a big watch for the rest of the season. They're going to be a dangerous team, a formidable team, that's for sure. All they've got to do is defend the big moments. If they defend half as good as they attack, they're going to win a lot of games of footy.
Well, the clock ticks down now. They've knocked over a successful conversion attempt there. I think it was Atwell that had the last attempt. She started as the goal kicker and she's finished as the goal kicker. Coming up with that one, so 56 points to 10. But Fremantle, far too good, really ran away with it in the end. It was 3 tries to Donalda Paikau. Kiani Atwell had a double. Brittany Price with a double. Dallas Tinney scored. Cheyenne Carney got across. Kyra Talmia and Rebecca Mann, the try scorers for the Roosters. While Georgia Bett and Michelle Winder scored for South Perth. Winder was a really popular try for South Perth. The front rower going across, and she really celebrated when she did score. It was a great effort for her in a badly beaten team here in the end, going down 56 points to 10. Fremantle, far too good. Thanks, mate.